than a decade, your home for Major League Baseball.
17 days ago, an epic battle unfolded in the Bronx. Roger Clemens, Boston's former ace, and Pedro Martinez, the reigning king, squared off in a night to remember.
3-2 the count. Strike three call. Struck him out. Struck him out. And that's 12 for the Rocket. Struck him out. Number 8 for Pedro Martinez. 2-1. Deep and on its way. It is no longer a scoreless game.
Pedro prevailed, but today, the rematch. And so on a gray, cool day that feels more like October than June, the Red Sox and the Yankees go at it again inside Yankee Stadium. The Yankee fans pumped up for the Rocket Pedro duel. Take two inside the stadium. Looking at the standings after last night's Red Sox victory 5-3, Joe Torre's team finds themselves joined by the Red Sox in first place. Pedro Martinez, well, the last time out against the Yankees, brilliant, doesn't even cut it. A complete game 4-hitter. He faces Roger Clemens again today. Brilliant in his own right, a complete game 5-hitter 17 days ago. And a look at those numbers. 9 innings for each. The 9 strikeouts for Pedro. He was dominant with 89 strikes out of the 128 pitches. But Roger, in some people's minds, was even better. 13 strikeouts. Maybe the only mistake made the entire day was the 2-run homer that he allowed to Trot Nixon, who is back in the lineup today. So these two teams are in first place, and we go at it again, hoping for more of the same that we saw on May 28th. Let's go back to the studio and Larry Beal.
Thanks very much, Dave. We're so happy that you could be with us here for this ESPN2 baseball special. The rematch of that classic confrontation between the Rocket and Pedro Martinez. That game was won by the Red Sox, as was last night's game between Boston and New York at Yankee Stadium. And it prompted Yankee owner George Steinbrenner after the game to say simply, "We have got to do something." Does that mean Sammy Sosa? Who knows what it means, but Chuck Knobloch was back in the lineup last night. 1-1 game in the second. Shane Spencer with a drive that is deep to right and appeared to go off the top of the wall. Ricky Leday held up at third base. Spencer thought he had a home run, but take a look at the replay here as the ball caroms, not off the arrow, but off the top of the wall. Trot Nixon couldn't get it. The runners were stranded, and that proved to be extremely pivotal. Top of the third. El Duque facing Nomar Garcia-Parra, single to left. Leday, whoa, where did the ball go? He overruns it. Jeff Fry scores. Leday not happy. And things get worse because the next batter is Carl Everett. What a boost he has been for the Boston Red Sox since being acquired from the Astros. Off the wall, Garcia-Parra scores. Everett with a triple, and the Red Sox take a 3-1 lead to the bottom of the third. 2 on, 1 down. Tino Martinez at the plate goes with the pitch. It's a double down the right field line. It scores Derek Jeter, and the Yankees close the deficit to 3-2. Jorge Posada follows with a little bloop single. Bernie comes in. Posada goes into second base as the throw goes all the way through, and the Yanks tied up at 3 apiece. Jason Varitek, former Georgia Tech star, showing he can do it in the bigs. Off of El Duque, an upper deck blast. 2-run cloud, only his 3rd of the year. Red Sox would take a 5-3 lead. Jorge Posada trying to lead a comeback in the bottom of the 8th off Real Cormier, and Trot Nixon does the trot and the dive, and the Red Sox go on to win it by a final of 5-3. Now, the Yankees are still technically 2 percentage points ahead of Boston in the fight for first place in the American League East, but clearly there is concern, consternation for George Steinbrenner and his troops in New York City. The Red Sox are for real. What about Toronto? They are hanging around and certainly could figure into the wild card situation as the season progresses. facing the Tigers, and the Tigers, man, do they have some roar. Bobby Higginson in the bottom of the first with a 3-run shot, his 8th of the season. Next batter is Wangan. Some rumors about him possibly ending up in Yankee pinstripes as well, because it's hard to see him re-signing with Detroit, but his 10th of the year makes it 4-0. Later in the first, Alberto Castillo gingerly, carefully protecting nature. It's a little birdie that's strayed out onto the field. He would receive medical attention. Birdie's okay. Unfortunately, the Blue Jays were not. Different kind of birdies. And they were caged, they were tarred, they were feathered. Higginson, another 3-run cloud. Look at the final score. 16-3 as Higginson 4 for 4, 7 RBIs. The Tigers, every one of their starters got a base hit. Toronto falls now to 3 games out of first place. How about the battle for first in the Central Division? Bartolo Colon against Maglio Ordonez in the 4th. And this is a drive. We've got another arrow at work here. Means it's got to be more controversy. Where did the ball land? Hit the railing. Was not called a home run as it should have been. Frank Thomas heading home. The big hurt me. He's out at the plate. Jerry Manuel comes out to argue, and Frank Thomas very upset. In any case, you got to move on. Game tied at 1. In the 5th, Jose Valentin. It's high, it's steep. It's not goodbye, though. It's off the wall. Herbert Perry scores, and the Sox lead it 2-1. 3-2 game here. And Alex Ramirez was at the plate. The ball got away. Travis Fryman scores to tie it up at 3 apiece. Top 10, Ray Durham. High, deep, aloha. Good night, game over, drive home safely as Durham's 11th homer of the season gives the Sox a 4-3 victory, and Chicago very much for real. They have now opened up a 4-game lead on Cleveland in the American League Central, and this is a team that's going to have to be taken seriously. Now, in case you missed it, last night, National League action between the Giants and the Reds, and this was a scary scene. Russ Ortiz on the mound, and look out, because Aaron Boone gets hit in the face, and he was writhing in pain. Sean Casey and the Cincinnati teammates look at him. They are very concerned. And the Giants shaken up as well. Take one more look at this. Right on the bill of the cap. Oh, my goodness. Lucky that it was the hat and not a few inches lower. In any case, they helped Boone off. He left and he was bleeding, and word is it's a broken nose, but he is okay. Top of the 7th, bases loaded. Bill Miller trying to turn 2. They only get 1. Dimitri Young scoring. The Reds take a 2-1 lead. Bottom 9, still 2-1 Reds. Barry Bonds off of Casey's glove, scoring Bobby Estrella, and it ties the game at 2 apiece. Still bottom 9. Runners at first and third. Jeff Kent, hero or zero? He comes up as the hero. Off of Danny Graves, Marvin Bernard scores the winning run, and the Giants, in dramatic fashion, come back to beat the Reds by a final count of 3-2. Coming up, part of our triple header coverage on ESPN and ESPN2. We've got the White Sox and the Indians, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Some of you will see Atlanta and Pittsburgh. And at 10 o'clock over on ESPN2, the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Some will get Big Mac and the Padres. Coming up, will they do it again? Will it be another classic confrontation? Pedro and the Rocket get set for first pitch at the stadium. Dave O'Brien, Ray Knight, coming up next.
What does a sound investment sound like? Janice found a radio network with big plans. So Janice did some high-frequency fact-finding, went out to the stations, sat down with their books and their managers, and found out the stations were doing better than anyone expected. Music to Janice's ears, and proof that tuning into the details can turn up sweet opportunities. Sound good? Get there. Janice Mutual Funds.
They played in half-empty stadiums.
Billie Jean
Cheryl Miller. So we could get standing ovations.
Flojo.
Martina Navratilova. They endured catcalls. So we could be superstars.
They were called different.
Wilma Rudolph.
So this would be normal.
Chris Evans.
Daddy Stoltz.
They created a world where we could jump, shoot,
Sing. Shine. Try. Don't blow it.
don't blow it.
That's your 7 Slim Jim. Get your beefy, spicy breath out of my face!
Step into a Slim Jim!
Eat me!
When water attacks, it can transform your beautiful deck into a danger zone. Boards warp and crack, weakening your deck. But Thompson's gives you the highest level of water protection available to protect your deck like no other. Thompson's. It never takes a day off, guaranteed.
Shoot, I forgot change.
That's no problem, my extremely tall friend. Call Collect.
Oh, yeah.
Just be sure to dial 1-800-COLLECT.
Is it really better?
Oh, yeah. 1-800-COLLECT saves you at least $1 or $2.
It saves $1 or $2?
And it's easy. For a collect call, dial 1-800-COLLECT.
That's great. You know, you're kind of cute.
What can I say? I love this job. 1-800-COLLECT. Save $1 or $2.
Kawasaki brings you a classic story of 3 bikes and the offers that go with them. Starring the Vulcan 1500 Classic and the Vulcan 800 Classic. And in the role of its career, the fuel-injected Vulcan 1500 Drifter. The all-star cast includes up to $500 in free accessories, or payments as low as $106 per month, or 000 for 6 months. The Vulcan Cruiser from Kawasaki, a classic that will move you. Now playing at your Kawasaki dealer.
Baseball's rich tapestry weaves their faces into the mind, their splendid accomplishments into one's memory. They are the names of greatness past and present. And on special days like this, when the rivalry is rekindled, there is always the opportunity for the unforgettable. The Yankees' 1999 World Series banner arrived from the heavens this afternoon, seemingly like 24 before it, and touched down right on the diamond, where in a few moments the Red Sox and the Yankees rekindle a great baseball rivalry. A very special day inside Yankee Stadium. We welcome everyone. I'm Dave O'Brien along with Ray Knight. This one has all the earmarks of another great game like the one the Sox and the Yankees played just 17 days ago inside the stadium when Pedro and the Rocket hooked up in a classic matchup. They are, Ray, two of the game's great titans, aren't they?
There's no question about it. Most overpowering pitchers in the American and National League for the last 10, 20 years. Pedro Martinez has just a complement of fastball, slider, changeup, just pure devastation. Nobody feels comfortable against him. You see the tremendous rotation on that fastball as he cross-fires away. Then he drops down, cuts a fastball, running away from a left-hander, and he comes back with a nasty yacker, and you've not even seen his changeup, which may be his most devastating pitch. Roger Clemens, on the other hand, straight over the top, has lost some of his fastball. When I faced him, he was purely a power pitcher, fastball, sliders. Now he's gone to the split finger as his out pitch. A little bit of change as he's matured and gotten older. Look at the difference between the two. Pedro Martinez has 3 angles that he throws the ball. In essence, that's 6 different pitches. Roger Clemens, the 1 arm angle straight over the top with the fastball, slider, and split finger. Raw power. His fastball, slider, and changeup. Even his changeup is a power changeup, whereas Roger still has power on occasion, but is more of a finesse with the split finger. Then you get to the position where you have constant movement on Pedro Martinez's pitches. Whether it's the fastball, the slider, or the changeup, it's always going somewhere. Roger Clemens, to be effective now, has to throw the spots.
So that's the difference between the two. Jimmy Williams, the manager of the Boston Red Sox, who won the American League Manager of the Year a season ago, leading the Red Sox on to postseason play with 94 victories. And here's his starting lineup. He has Jose Offerman back. Offerman having missed 3 games because of a groin strain. He was out, but he's back in and 5 for 11 since they got him back. Jeff Fry at second base. Nomar Garciaparra, of course, one of the game's great stars at shortstop. Carl Everett, though, has made a tremendous difference for Boston already with 21 home runs hit. All of last season, the Red Sox center fielders combined to hit 7 homers with 59 runs batted in. He's already hit 21 with 60. Brian Daubach is the designated hitter with Darren Lewis in left field. Jason Varitek emerging as one of the best catchers in baseball today. Hits out of the 8th spot. And young Wilton Veras takes over at third base. He'll be playing regularly for Jimmy Williams because of the injury to John Valentin, who is out for the year. There's Pedro getting ready. That priceless right hand of his all wrapped up. He's 9-2 with a 0.95 earned run average. You know, Pedro known to be very playful in between starts, but he's got the look of Darth Vader. Some walk right away from the camera there on days when he pitches.
Yeah, Dave, that's why it makes him so valuable, not only because he has the great arm and ability to shut other people down, but his presence in the clubhouse, that happy attitude reflects to the and goes right through his team, and as a result you end up playing happy and take the game for what it really is, as something that was meant to be fun. And with all the high pressure performers out there today having to go out and do things day in and day out, a guy like Pedro is just refreshing.
Yankee Stadium is sold out. The weather today on the gray and cool side, mostly cloudy. There is a chance of rain, of course, on Sunday and again on Monday. The Yankees were rained out. They were able to play last night and lost to the Red Sox 5-3. But this one has the feel, with the weather as well as inside Yankee Stadium, as a game in late October where a lot is on the line. There's Derek Jeter, the all-star shortstop, among the club's leaders in just about every offensive category. And you know what he's doing right now, along with Scott Brocious? He's waiting for Roger Clemens. Now, Clemens has warmed up, but he has not made an appearance inside the Yankee dugout, and obviously not on the mound yet.
Yeah, it's unusual. Usually when your team takes a field, your pitcher's ready to go, and he tells you kind of when to get out there. Roger now finally making his appearance.
The fans reacting to Roger finally getting out there to work. You wonder if there's a little psych job going on there.
Maybe.
Waiting to come on out to pitch and making the Red Sox cool their heels. His last couple of outings since that gem he pitched against Pedro, well, obviously they did not go very well. In fact, in that game against the Mets on Friday, he allowed a grand slam to Mike Piazza, gave up 9 runs in the worst outing of his career. So in 10 innings total, 16 hits and 15 runs. And you wonder, Ray, if he emptied his tank in that great start against Boston.
I don't think he's emptied his tank, but he's just not the pitcher day in and day out. I think Roger has lost a little bit off of his fastball. We talked about in the open his control. He can't get by with pitches that he misses and leaves one ball maybe on the plate, whereas before he could just throw the ball over the heart of the plate in his natural fastball with the great movement and the suddenness to it, and the hard break of the slider would get hitters out. Now he's had to resort to more of a control finesse type pitcher, and that has been his problem. He's behind in the count a lot. You saw the graphic there. He walked 7 in those 2 ball games, going 2-0, 3-1 an awful lot. Roger's always been a pitcher that's been very effective ahead in the count, then able to put you away.
Let's get a look at the Yankee defense backing up Roger. In left field, Ricky Leday. Williams is in center field. O'Neill in right. Very good infield, obviously, for the Yankees, with Tino Martinez, who probably should have won a Gold Glove last year at first base. Knobloch is back, although he's had a sore forearm and he missed several games. Jeter's still there at short. Brocious at third base, and Jorge Posada to catch Roger Clemens.
And you're looking at one of the best in the business in Derek Jeter. We're going to watch him today and focus on his range, how he plays shortstop, as we are Nomar Garcia-Parra. Do a little focus on some defensive maneuvering and positioning and how they play.
Jose Offerman to lead off. He's hitting .246 with 3 home runs, 16 RBIs, just off the DL because of a groin strain. He's to be followed by Fry and Nixon. And right away, Posada and Clemens cannot hook up. So maybe some Clemens nerves against Boston here today. And the first pitch is in for strike 1.
Well, I think that's what he has to do all day long. Get ahead with that fastball, locate it, then go to the split finger and the slider.
A ball and a strike to Jose Offerman. The Red Sox with a 5-3 win last night, so they have forged a first place tie with the Yankees atop the American League East. Last foul. Clemens ahead 1-2. Roger now in his 17th season. He won his first World Series ring in 1999. He won only 14 regular season games in his first year in pinstripes, but He was brilliant in a Game 4 clincher of the series against Atlanta. Still 1-2 on Offerman.
See, the defense for the Yankees, they're going to be pretty much straight away. They do not do a lot of overshifting. Play everybody straight up.
Just missed 2-2. Offerman a good bunter, good speed. Lines that one right at Ricky Leday for out number 1. So despite the lengthy wait, Clemens gets his first man. One gone with Jeff Fry coming up.
And one thing too, Dave, we want to make note of here early. It took 5 pitches in order to eliminate Offerman. In Rogers' heyday, when he was the most dominant pitcher I faced in the 80s, he had that fastball that once he got ahead of you, he either elevated the fastball, four seam, dropped that hard slider on you. He was basically a 2-pitch pitcher, as was Tom Seaver and Nolan Ryan, because they had such good fastball, such good location on that fastball, they didn't need a 3rd pitch.
Fry, the little second baseman, has hit in 8 consecutive games and has had good numbers against Roger Clemens, 7 out of 15.
I say, man.
And he's a hot bat. Jimmy Williams needs him in there. And there's a liner into right field for a base hit. So he continues to cook against the Rocket. That's the first hit of the ball game.
Well, when you have those kind of numbers against a pitcher like Roger Clemens, you know you can hit the fastball. And here Fry gets the fastball. You don't try to do too much with it. And nice drive the other way. Roger, nice tuck. Problem with this ball, just a little bit too sweet, right down the middle, belt high.
So Fry has hit in 9 consecutive games, and here's Trot Nixon, the right fielder. And to show you what kind of fans the Red Sox have and how much they love to beat Roger, after Nixon hit that 2-run home run to beat Clemens on the 28th, his very first game back at Fenway Park, as he was striding up to home plate to bat for the first time, the Red Sox fans gave him a standing ovation. That obviously pumped him up even more. And he went out and hit a 2-run homer in his first at bat. So the Sox fans saluting his effort. They, of course, know how much that means to beat Roger with a dramatic home run. There aren't too many cities around, Ray, where that's going to happen. We're sitting in a ballpark where that kind of thing occurs, that kind of fan acknowledgement. They count 0-2 on Nixon.
Well, I've always felt that Boston, New York, and Philadelphia were the most intelligent fans as far as knowing the game of baseball.
Yeah, I'd throw St. Louis in there as well.
St. Louis is right there.
It's the corner. The crowd wanted it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Nixon. Clemens very deliberate with men on and does not have a great move. He never has. He's always been one of those pitchers that you can run on easily, assuming you can get on base against him.
Absolutely. A guy that does not really incorporate a slide step.
Well, there's also been a theory brewing in baseball the last couple of years about Clemens possibly tipping his pitches to the opponent by really slowing up that front leg in the delivery on breaking balls and tipping off the hitter that a breaking pitch is coming.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ways to tip pitches. The way that you grip the ball in the glove, the tilt of your glove. Sometimes on breaking balls you come down farther to your waist. And you can bet that with all the video, TV that we have now, these hitting coaches are zeroing in on these deliveries. And as Milt Stottlemyre said, he was going to take a look at Rogers' last start because he felt like every time he threw a breaking ball, they were all over it.
Garcia-Parra on deck. Fry runs, and that's ball 4. Well, in that classic pitcher's duel with Pedro Martinez here at Yankee Stadium on May 28th, Roger did not walk anybody in 9 innings.
Well, this is a big difference in Roger Clemens. Gets an 0-2 count on a hitter, and then he cannot put him away. The first hitter, Offerman, goes to 2-2, foul fly ball on a 2-2 count. And in times past, I mean, the last 2 years when I've watched him pitch, it always seems that he's laboring Now that start against Pedro, he did not labor. He got ahead of hitters, went right at him with his good fastball, threw a lot of sliders in that game, didn't throw a lot of split-fingered fork balls, which is now his out pitch. He's not thrown a split finger yet. Looks like he's trying to establish the fastball and is not throwing it for strikes.
He buzzes Garciaparra's tower, and Nomar goes down. Maybe that will get Rogers started. It certainly got the crowd going.
Yeah, but I know that's not intentional. When you're struggling with your control, you try to be a little bit more fine, and a lot of that means you stride short and leave the ball high in the zone.
Nomar gets right back up, and another one high to count 2-0. Now, we're likely not to hear a reason for the delay for Clemens coming out several minutes late to throw the first pitch. You wonder if there's something physically wrong, if he's ill or if he's sick or something.
Well, sometimes you'll get into just, heartburn, and you get a little nervous, and you'll go in and you'll take a Tums or a Rolaids or something like that. I certainly, there's no way for us to know. He was awful late coming out. Posada goes out and talks to him.
Garciaparra hitting .379. He can make a guy feel sick to his stomach, and that's way high for ball 3. And Nomar's a guy who has scrapped for hits in the past against Roger. Just 3 for 25 against him. Joe Torre wondering what is up.
Well, when you high in the strike zone, normally it's because you stride too short.
He finally finds the strike zone after 7 consecutive balls. And the count 3-1.
Sometimes you don't load up on that back leg. You want to be a little quick. See pitchers high in the strike zone early in the game when they are a little anxious. They feel those butterflies and they want to unload the ball.
Check swing. Did he offer? He did not. And it's ball 4. He's walked 2 in a row. So the bases are loaded for Boston. And their best hitter so far in the year 2000, Carl Everett, coming up. And something is amiss with Roger. Everett hitting .328. He had 3 hits last night. He was a home run away from batting for the cycle. And already with 21 homers, second best in the American League.
And I think one of the best 5 or 6 fastball hitters in the league. So this is a place Roger needs to be real careful if he's going to locate the fastball here.
Ball 1 to Everett. He's just not getting ahead, although he was ahead a couple of strikes on Nixon.
He's wild high. He's wild high with everything. And
the bases are jammed, and he popped it up. The infield fly in effect, and Knobloch to make the catch for out number 2. A huge out there for Roger Clemens, who clearly was struggling, but got a hot hitter in Everett, and there are 2 out.
Roger's always been one of those guys that has not changed when he gets into trouble. A lot of people cannot pitch into trouble. Roger Clemens, a lot like Tom Seaver, a lot like Tom Glavine. When they're in trouble, they can go to another level, make better pitches, throw to better spots. So they're not like those people that bases get loaded and all of a sudden they cough it up. Somehow they get to a different level.
The DH Daubach takes high for ball 1. Brian Daubach, a very smart pickup by the Red Sox last year after a 9-year minor league career for the most part, and went out and hit 21 homers. The 1-0 pitch, again very high.
He's just not finishing off. You see him right there. Roger's always finished off with his right hand touching and almost picking up grass or dirt as he finished. Right there, it was almost a stiff front leg. Did not finish off that pitch. Almost threw it completely standing up.
A strike, 2-1. No place to put Daubach here. And for Roger Clemens, in the first inning, the Wolf is at the door. Of course, this crowd is going to go crazy if he can get out of this jam. Fry, Nixon, and Garciaparra get their leads. Daubach making him throw strikes, and it's 2-2.
Well, in Roger's case, it looks like he keeps bending down out there stretching. It may have been that his back or his legs had tightened up. Look at his delivery here. Everything there is the same. But watch how he kind of stands up. He doesn't follow over with that leg or his arm finishing off the pitch. So he may have had a little stiffness in his back when he came in for the bullpen, it being a cold day. And that's also evidence of a lot of balls high in the strike zone when you don't finish off your pitch, follow through with your pitch.
Well, the temperature is 63 degrees when we started, so more autumn-like than midsummer. Posada again will visit the mound as they try and get together on what to throw here, in the 50,000 plus inside Yankee Stadium are dying to explode. Joe Torre just wants the inning over with. A Wednesday afternoon matinee. Clemens against Pedro. And the first test of the day as Clemens tries to untangle himself from this jam, the 2-2. Now it's full. Very enticing, but Dahlbeck wouldn't bite.
Good spot. Great hitting by Dahlbeck, not swinging at that pitch. Good spot by Roger. So often hitters offer at that pitch. Certainly 2-2 right off the bat. Tough pitch not to chase.
The runner's on the move, and he raked it foul. And he broke his bat. Roger came inside on him.
Great pitch. After going away with the fastball, the most logical place now is to try to bust a man in, because with 2 strikes, you're trying to protect the plate. So Roger comes inside hard with the gas, breaks a bat, and there's not a lot you can do with it. Almost, even though it's 3-2, Roger, look how Posada sets up inside, busts him hard inside, right there at the spot he wanted to. Dahlbeck could not do anything with that ball. And that comes from all the pitches Roger threw away. It makes him vulnerable on the inside pitch. Two pretty good class pitches. Fastball away, 3-2, then fastball in, 3-2.
So Dahlbeck with a new bat, the 3-2 again, and he popped him up. He's going to get out of the jam. Grotius on the left side makes the catch, and the Red Sox leave them loaded in the first as Rocket passes the first test. No score.
Thanks for your time.
Say hello to French fries in a can.
Some people want Dave to change Wendy's Super Value menu, but no matter what they come up with...
Our newest idea? Hamburgers on a roll.
That's not going to happen. Because for 11 years, Wendy's has given you great food for just 99 cents. Fresh salads, hot and juicy junior bacon cheeseburgers, and biggie fries.
Here's the clincher.
And you can count on
This is going very well.
Wendy's 99-cent Super Value menu. And remember, Wendy's pickup windows open late, so you can eat great.
Thanks for stopping.
Even late.
Howie, have a seat. Listen.
Cool. It's just like a movie theater.
RCA Digital Home Theater from Radio Shack.
There's just one thing that's missing. A cup holder.
Now get a $400 instant rebate to buy an RCA home theater or anything else in the store. Just sign up for MSN Internet service at the RCA Digital Entertainment Center, only at Radio Shack.
The surprisingly affordable Leganza from Daewoo. At less than $19,000, no other car has taken luxury this far.
Well, the Red Sox had a golden opportunity loading the bases but could not score as Roger Clemens got out of it. So in the Pedro Rocket duel, take 2, Joe Torre can breathe a little bit easier, although he doesn't look too comfortable after that ragged first inning by Roger Clemens. Let's get a look at his lineup. He does have Chuck Knobloch back at the top after an injury to his left forearm. He had a cortisone shot a couple of days ago. He was in there last night, went 1 for 4. Jeter hitting .339 right behind him. Then Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Tito Martinez, who's driven in 32. Jorge Posada, a .326 hitter, having an outstanding year. He's hit a dozen home runs. Leday is in left. Spencer, the designated hitter, and Scott Brocious, the Gold Glove third baseman.
Pedro Martinez, the most dominating pitcher in the game right now, with all due respect to Randy Johnson. Has the great fastball. 60 times he struck out 10 plus in a game. Always matched up against the oppositional's ace. 45 hits and 85 innings pitched. That's flat out unbelievable. Look at the 16 base on balls. If you combine that with the hits, you're still looking at 61. against 85. Tom Seaver always told me if you add your hits and your base on balls, it's less than your innings pitched, you're an overpowering pitcher. Obviously, with the 114 Ks he is, the nation knows it. The great fastball from 3 different angles, the tight slider, and a great changeup.
And only 5'11", 170, and you wonder where it comes from. Chuck Knobloch hitting .286, and he's hit in 7 consecutive games. Made some nice plays in the field defensively last night in his return. And of course, his throwing problems much maligned here in New York. Jeter and O'Neill to follow. 0-0. On a gray Wednesday afternoon, but they've got baseball inside the stadium. And a tremendous matchup again. A ball and a strike on Knobloch. Pedro has 2 Cy Youngs, 1 in each league. So he combines with Roger Clemens for 7 Cy Youngs between today's starters.
Dave, I saw Mel Stottlemyre go to the phone as Clemens came in, and immediately they got Mendoza up in the bullpen. So Roger may have experienced some tightness or something. I mean, I hate to speculate what's going on, but they do have Mendoza warming up in the pen.
The 1-2 pitch, and raked into the corner by Knobloch. And up against the fence. He digs into second base with a stand-up double. So here in the first inning, already both pitchers not nearly as pristine as they were 3 weeks ago.
You don't see Pedro throw too many fat pitches, but that pitch fastball up with a little bit of movement in, just so you can throw the head on it, and Knobloch does just that. Ball didn't run in as Pedro's balls are accustomed to do. Great movement on his fastball. I mean, good 6, 7 to 8 inches movement sideways on his fastball into right-handed hitters generally.
Jeter with a man into scoring position, hitting .339. He has sizzled since coming off the disabled list on May 27th after a strained abdominal muscle. In 14 games back, he's hitting .477. That's 31 hits and 65 trips.
You don't see Garciaparra anywhere near Knobloch playing Jeter to pull for some reason.
Gently tapped foul. 0-2 the count. Yeah, Garciaparra way over toward the third baseman.
Look at this right here. Garciaparra just only about 5 steps from the third baseman. Look at the hole up the middle there. Right here, Jeter, with nobody on, should be shooting the ball back up the middle or to the right side. Garciaparra playing in the hole. That tells me they're going to throw him a lot of changeups and a lot of fastballs down and in, because that's too huge a hole to just give up to somebody.
Nobody out. Knobloch at second base. And you can see Jeter trying to go the other way there on a pitch outside. Now Pedro, this is where he really gets pretty sick against the opposition. Opponents are 2 for 45 with men in scoring position against Martinez. I mean, you can tick off a volume of those kind of stats about Martinez, but that's what you call pitching in the clutch. The 2-strike pitch to Jeter. Ran it up there. Too high, 1-2.
I can tell you right now, Dave, all Knobloch has to do is get a good lead and steal third. Pedro's not paying any attention to him. Shortstop's off of him. You have nobody out, you don't want to get thrown out over there. But there at third base, he can steal third base standing up right now. Guarantee you. Fry's playing with him a little bit, but backs off early in the set. He's backed off already. He could go right now.
Not running. And it's fouled. An excuse me wave there by Jeter. Just got the baton away in a check swing. Well, of course, Pedro Martinez, legendary, coming inside on hitters. And the last time that he faced the Yankees on the 28th, not afraid to go inside. He hit a couple of hitters as he got Knobloch. And later in that game, he also got Posada.
Well, it's all a part of his repertoire, his idea, the way he goes about his business, establishes that inside part of the plate as his, and then goes away with the slider and the changeup.
A wave and a miss, and he struck him out. Inside and outside with the soft breaking ball for his first strikeout.
Well, it's real hard to stick that shoulder in there when you've had one right up around your neck at about 98. I mean, that ball, Jeter's got no chance. He misses this ball by a good 10 or 11 inches. That's one of the worst swings you'll ever see Derek Jeter make, and that's simply because of the little message sent up and in.
One down, the hitter, the lefty, Paul O'Neill. He's hitting .294 with 7 home runs. Pedro, of course, has only made one start since the gem against the Yankees here, and that was against the Cleveland Indians. It was a one-hitter over 8 innings, so he pitched a terrific game, but because of that oblique muscle pull, he hasn't pitched very much. He's also working on an extra day's rest today, and last year when he had that extra day, he was 13-1. That one hit softly. Great stab by Fry, and that's going to save a run, at least for now. It'll be an infield hit for Paul O'Neill, but no RBI thanks to the effort by Jeff Fry at second base. Knobloch had to hold up at third.
Well, that's because the Red Sox are overplaying. Generally, if Fry is playing straight up, that's a routine play, but the Red Sox playing rank pull with their second baseman, just as they were with the shortstop. Ball hit softly. I mean, this is a 5-hopper up the middle. Fry is able, but you don't even see him in your picture there. He's playing him so hard to pull. Good job knocking that ball down. But the Red Sox have shown us early that they're overplaying defensively, and that goes right back to Jimmy Williams, who was a defensive coach for the Atlanta Braves, and they overplay more than anyone.
Yankees on the corners, and Bernie Williams in the box, hitting .296 with a dozen homers and 54 runs batted in. He was hitless last night, was 0 for 4. But he does have 12 hits in his last 28 at-bats, and he's hit in 8 consecutive games. So Pedro facing a hot bat here. One down. That one gets underneath Varitek, and a run will score. Knobloch. Or did it hit him? It did. It got him. That hit him, and it glanced off him. So they're going to send Knobloch back to third base. A hit batsman, as again he tried to come inside, but too far, and that loads up the bases.
Well, that actually was a slider, and this slider he throws about 86 or 87, so it hurts. But you see the hard slider hitting right above the instep on the back foot there. Not a lot of control really shown by either of these pitchers, who are great control artists. We mentioned Martinez only 16 walks all year long and 88 innings pitched. And that's just barely 1 point something per 9 innings.
So Roger Clemens loaded the bases on a hit and 2 singles in the first inning. Got out of it despite a bases jammed 1-out situation. And Pedro Martinez faces the same scenario here, facing Tino Martinez.
But that's what he does so well, Dave. He throws so many strikes that hitters are not able to get the good part of the bat on. He just throws balls in the inside part, the outside part, uses the 4 quadrants of the strike zone right there. Change-up.
Beautiful pitch, pulled the string beautifully, and it's 0-2 on Martinez.
When I talk about the quadrants, I'm talking about up and in, down and away, down and in, up and away. Keeps the ball on the corner and on the edge of the vertical part of the strike zone.
Tito really starting to drive the ball after a very quiet first couple of months, but he goes down on 3 pitches. So Pedro, with some nasty stuff, dispatches his namesake.
I'm talking filthy. You look at these pitches, fastball, then changeup. He misses that ball by 10 or 12 inches. He just chokes his changeup way back, throws it with the same arm action, and look at the downward movement. That's what we always say. He always has movement on every pitch. It doesn't. There's no such thing as a straight changeup to Pedro. It's going to have some type of either sideways movement or in or out movement.
So here's Posada. The base is still jammed. And did that one hit him? No, it was down and in and blocked by Varitek. Down over the shoe tops of Posada.
I tell you, he got in trouble, but it didn't take him long to dispose of Tino, did it?
1, 2, 3, and Tito found a seat. And a pretty fair hitter. Posada hitting .326 with 12 homers. The Yankees are 11-0 in games in which he hits a home run. But as you know, Pedro doesn't give up too many.
Defense, you see, now that you have 2 outs, the defense goes back to almost a neutral position. Everybody's straight up, deep to knock the ball down, shortstop and second baseman deep. Everett, the only one person out there not really in a true straight-up position.
The 2-0 pitch, a fastball to get a strike. 2-1, a Yankee at every base here.
Everett playing Posada. As you look at their career bases loaded, 277. Playing Posada a little bit to left field, shaded a little bit to left field, and very shallow. He's the shallowest playing outfielder in baseball today.
This is the 21st pitch of the inning for Pedro. And it's off the corner now to count 3-1 and a hitter's count for Posada.
But the thing about Pedro there, you see on 2-1 count, he goes with a changeup. He has the ability and the fortitude, even here at 3-1, to throw something other than a fastball. He believes he can throw that slider for a strike. He believes he can throw that changeup for a strike. As a result, it's hard to sit on one pitch.
The 3-1. Went with a fastball, and he fouled it back. A good rip by Posada.
Ball's up out of the strike zone. That's the pitch you see best. Actually, ball 4 there. Posada did take a good rip at it. But Pedro throws you so many pitches, so many different angles, so much change in his elevation. Look at this pitch. It's going to be a fastball. It's going to be a little bit up in the strike zone. The catcher reaching up above his face mask. Definitely a ball. But he saw that ball pretty well.
The 3-2, and where did that miss? It is ball 4. Oh, so close. Pedro is disgusted. He thought he had strike 3, but the walk to Posada forces in Knobloch, and the Yankees lead it 1-0.
Yeah, I don't know where that pitch was either. It had to be down. Look at the catcher's mitt, see what kind of movement it has. That ball, it's not where it goes over, it's where it goes over the plate, ladies and gentlemen, not where he catches it. Check the knee. Check the knee. That ball is right there. That ball's got to be a strike. He had to call that ball down. I mean, that ball is right there. Right there. Tough pitch to call a ball, I know that.
Posada picks up his 33rd RBI. Garcia Pirate, Bernie Williams.
See, if that pitch is a ball, then the pitch around the catcher's mask has to be a strike.
Ricky Leday takes a strike. Leday, the left fielder, hitting well lately. He's 0 for 6 on the homestand, but 10 hits in his last 29 at-bats. And all this talk about Sammy Sosa, which is swirling in the New York media. Cut on the mist, and it's 0-2. Has to make Ricky Leday think about his future with the New York Yankees. If in fact such a deal would be in the works. We do know that George Steinbrenner and Joe Torre did discuss it. The possibility of Sammy Sosa becoming a Yankee just yesterday. He pops that one up. And in comes Veras, the third baseman, on the mound right on top of that hill. So they do leave him loaded. But the Yankees get a run on ball 4. And it's 1-0 New York.
Kawasaki brings you a classic story of 3 bikes and the offers that go with them. Starring the Vulcan 1500 Classic and the Vulcan 800 Classic. And in the role of its career, the fuel-injected Vulcan 1500 Drifter. The all-star cast includes up to $500 in free accessories, or payments as low as $106 per month, or 000 for 6 months. The Vulcan Cruiser from Kawasaki, a classic that will move you. Now playing at your Kawasaki dealer.
During the game, you put your feet through hell. So afterwards, put them into something a little more comfortable. Rider After Sport footwear for fast relief of athlete's feet.
In all of us, there is the genetic code for mutation. Now, a change is coming.
Magneto believes that a war is brewing between mutants and the rest of humanity.
Those we fear will be all that can save us.
He could wipe out everyone in New York City.
Starts Friday, July 14th.
Play the Milk Mustache Fame Game. Win millions of instant prizes or collect caps for the grand prize. To live the life of a celebrity. The Fame Game. Drink milk. Be famous.
Right, give me a good exit and a clean arch. Go. Come on. Pay attention. Right, heads up at 4,500 feet. Look, reach, pull, go. Come on, you can do it!
How many times have you done this?
None! But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
The Yankees have the first run of the afternoon. 1-0. They lead the Red Sox going to the top half of the second inning. Well, so much for the rematch between Clemens and Pedro Martinez. That is not Roger Clemens. That is Ramiro Mendoza. Obviously something wrong with Roger, who has to leave the game after 1 inning, 1 hit. He walks 2. He did not have command, loaded the bases, got out of it, Ray, but something's wrong with him physically.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's his arm, or they wouldn't have sent him out there. It was probably his legs or his lower back somehow tightened up in this cold weather. I mean, that's what I'm guessing. In all probability, I imagine that's what it is. Mendoza has been effective this year as a starter, coming off a tenderness in his shoulder. Actually, today should be his start. The rain out pushed him back, so they inserted Clemens in that spot.
Now, we do have word on Clemens now. This was the reason that it took him so long to come out. The game delayed at the outset several minutes. Roger never could get loose. A strained right groin. So Clemens is done for the day.
That's a good reason why his stride was short. It's pretty hard to push off when you have a tender spot in that groin area.
So Mendoza to take over with a 1-0 lead, and Darren Lewis will lead off for Boston. Then it's Varitek and Wilton Veras, the young third baseman.
When Mendoza, you're going to see a guy that throws a lot of sinkers, throws the ball down when he's effective.
Lewis rakes a foul. He, of course, a tremendous defensive outfielder over his career. About a .240 lifetime hitter. You saw hitting over 300 this year, and he broke his bat on the first cut.
Yeah, when you're able to carry Darren Lewis as your starting center fielder, which is an outstanding one, you have a great baseball team, because he a little short with the bat, runs exceptionally well, and covers a whole bunch of ground out there in center field. They're playing in left field because Everett has won the center field job here, not only with his defensive play, but with his bat.
So Lewis in left today, a guy who once played 392 consecutive games without an error. That's the major league record, handling almost 1,000 chances. Well, Ray, we mentioned the Sammy Sosa stories that are filling the New York sports pages over the last 48 hours. The Cubs may or may not be ready to deal him, as this fly goes right to Bernie Williams for out number 1. And the question, of course, is, will Sammy agree to a trade? As a 5 and 10 man, he can nix any trades. You would think, though, if the Yankees are willing to part, especially with some pitching prospects, they have a very deep farm system. And I know Joe Torre has made the comment, hey, you're talking about 60 home runs a year there. Not that he was necessarily going up on a pedestal and demanding Sammy Sosa come here, but
well, I think it'd be a great thing for Sammy Sosa, because of he said that New York is one of his favorite cities, and the fact that I don't know that it would affect Leday. Leday, a good, solid defensive outfielder. I would think that they're thinking of Sammy more as a DH, a guy that can give you 500-600 bats, take care of his legs, and, you know, not playing much, maybe spot starting.
Sammy's numbers so far this season: 305, 19 homers. And And, of course, he's gone back and forth in the Chicago press with Don Baylor because of all of Sammy's strikeouts and his defensive play in right field. Don Baylor came out in spring training, said he wanted Sammy to steal a lot more bases. Varitek with a hard two-hopper to Knobloch. And there are 2 down in the second inning.
Well, the only thing with that, Sammy plays as hard as he can play day in and day out. His forte is his hitting. He's never been a tremendous defensive outfielder. He's got a good throwing arm, but he's always caught what he's gotten to. You know, as far as strikeouts, big guys like that are going to strike out. I mean, that's why they hit so much home runs.
Yeah, the Yankees have had a few like that.
Sure, they have.
Reggie, Mickey, they've had a few. Babe Ruth struck out.
So sometimes a manager expects a little too much from a player, and you ask him to do things he can't do. Sammy, he just goes out and plays hard and does the best he can every day.
The young third baseman Wilton Veras, 22 years old, out of the Dominican Republic. And at third base today, hitting .259. Replacing the injured John Valentin. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. The Red Sox like him a lot. He has a very strong arm and has some power. He's been one of their top prospects the last couple of years. And getting his chance. Broke his bat on that one. Nub to Knobloch, who gets rid of it in a hurry. No throwing difficulty there for Chuck Knobloch, as the Red Sox are retired 1-2-3. So good start for Mendoza.
Check this out. Go to some auto insurance company websites and try to get instant quotes and instant coverage.
Can't do it. At Progressive, our website is different.
You can do things at Progressive.com that you can't do at other websites.
I got an instant quote from Progressive and rates for 3 other leading companies.
No waiting for emails. No pushy callbacks.
If we can't save you money, we'll tell you who can.
I bought my policy online in the blink of an eye.
Or if you want, call us anytime at 1-800-AUTOPRO.
At Progressive.com, I can pay my bill online, even add a new car if I want.
Even our immediate response vehicles are online to help settle claims faster.
More people visit Progressive.com than any other auto insurance website.
Those other websites might as well be called can'tdodiddly.com.
We've given the auto insurance industry a big upgrade.
Shop and buy online at Progressive.com. Not what you'd expect from an insurance company.
If you have thinning hair, you can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
I love my hair, and I can't believe how simple the process is. It's quick, it's easy, it's painless, there's no surgery. And what I love about it is I can do whatever I want every day. I can go swimming, I can play sports. You won't believe it until you try it yourself.
You can get this hair loss research update free by calling 1-800-HAIR-CLUB now.
It's not about having fun. It's not about recreation. This is about action, drama, and intensity. This is the College World Series, and it's about winning. The emotion of college sports and the excitement of top-flight baseball come together in Omaha. The 2000 College World Series continues tonight at 7 on ESPN2.
To say Pedro Martinez gets up for the Yankees is the essence of the word understatement. These are his last 3 outings against New York. 3-0, including the playoffs. A 0.36 earned run average rate in 25 innings. He's allowed just 7 hits, striking out 38. And he's given up 1 earned run. And until they got a run off him in the first inning of today's game, he had gone 23 1/3 innings without allowing a run to the Yankees. Over that span of starts, he goes after Ricky Leday to start the second. 1-0, the Yankees in front.
Well, if you were a chemist or a physicist and you started to build a body to be a pitcher.
Get up the middle, a range play there for Garciaparra, and he guns him out. Nice spin move by Nomar for out number 1.
Tremendous range by Nomar. Look where he starts right there, and watch his steps. Count the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 steps. That's generally 24, 25 feet. But the big thing was the first step. He starts getting a little choppy there to get himself under control. But that first step was on the crack of the bat. Tremendous range. Going back to what I was saying about Pedro, perfect body for a pitcher. Lean, lanky, long arms, strong in his buttock area. Real long, lanky arms.
Well phrased, by the way, right?
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Going back to Forrest Gump. And then he has the arm angle, very loose, almost spider-like delivery, which is tough to pick up.
Spencer with a pop-up behind first base. Offerman headed for the seats, but out of his reach. Well, at 5'11", as far as pitchers go, he is on the short side. Only one pitcher under 6 feet, born after 1900, has made it to the Hall of Fame. And that was the Yankee great Whitey Ford, who stood 5'10". Pedro, of course, headed that way on his way to Cooperstown. If he keeps up this astronomical pace. Pedro's father was a semi-pro pitcher in the Dominican Republic. Pedro never got a chance to see him pitch, but apparently his dad competed against Manny Mota, the Alou brothers, in the Dominican. And he asked his former manager, Felipe Alou, about his dad. Felipe said he had a good arm, a live arm.
Well, I think live arm is exactly the perfect adjective to describe this young man here, because his ball goes all over the place.
Does it ever? The 2-2 to Spencer.
You know, the toughest thing to do as a hitter is really to pick the ball up. You sit over there in the on-deck circle, you look at films, you try to figure out exactly where the guy's release point is, and then when Pedro, you have no chance because he changes release points about every pitch. And then the next thing is, once you find the release point, you try to get your timing. Well, you can't do that with Pedro because he throws his fastball 97, his slider 87, and his changeup about 80. So all the things that make you a good hitter or make you able to be able to drive the baseball, seeing it and timing it, he doesn't allow you to do either one. With that sidearm movement, the way that he throws his glove at you, he almost turns his back to you. Very difficult to just pick out a cone area, as Ted Williams used to do, right up over that shoulder and get the release point.
Bushes for the foul, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Look at that. I mean, there's no way. I mean, when you're a right-handed hitter, that ball ends up coming from behind your back.
Garciaparra behind second, slings it over there to retire Brocious. 2 good rangy plays here by the all-star shortstop. Well, big night coming up this Wednesday evening. It's tonight on ESPN, the White Sox against the Indians at 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock Pacific time. And on ESPN2, the Diamondbacks against the Dodgers at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. Arizona with a 3-game lead on the Dodgers, and they have the big unit, Randy Johnson, with 10 wins, first in the National League, towing the slab tonight. 2 down. Here's Knobloch, who doubled and scored in the first inning. So he's hit in 8 consecutive games. He has scored the only run in this one. In the bottom half of the second inning, on a great day at Yankee Stadium, and an afternoon that has already seen Roger Clemens have to leave the mound after just 1 inning.
It's really hard to find a way to set up to hit Pedro properly. I mean, to me, a guy that throws hard sinkers in, you almost have to back off the plate and think, shoot the ball to right field, anything close to me is a ball. But when you back off the plate with Pedro, he has such great control that he drops that slider on the outside black, or that changeup out there. So these hitters that pull the ball off of him are sitting right in his hands.
He's ahead of Knobloch, 1 and 2, and just got a piece of that one to stay alive. You know, Ray, occasionally you'll hear a certain physical advantage that a great player has. Like these talk about Ted Williams' eyesight, phenomenal eyesight. If you examine the fingertips and the index and middle fingers of Pedro's right hand, you'll see they're calloused right up underneath the fingernail. Swing and a miss, and he got him. for strike 3. Must give him some extra command, being able to hold on to that ball a little bit longer. And he did it to whip Knobloch. 1-0 New York.
See if they got one of these. I don't believe it. Do you know how long it's been since I've seen one of those? How'd you find this? Oh, go back. Give me the mouse. Give me the mouse. Come on.
Car Guys, your website is here. CarParts.com, the world's largest supply of parts and accessories for cars and trucks.
Oh, man. No, stop.
Excuse me, number 8 bus go here. About number 9.
What are you looking at?
Dry cleaners wouldn't take a check again, now you know.
Use Visa Check Card. It automatically deducts from your checking account everywhere Visa's accepted. So you can get what you need and get on with life.
The surprisingly affordable Leganza from Daewoo. At less than $19,000, no other car has taken luxury this far.
A clear bottle, so you can make sure there's none of that hijinks and funny business going on inside. Introducing crisp, easy-drinking Beck's Light.
The forces of nature are waging a war, and the target is your deck. But Thompson's will stop them, because when others fail, Thompson succeeds, protecting your deck like no other, guaranteed. Thompson's Wood Protector. It never takes a day off.
At Yankee Stadium, Dave O'Brien, Rain Knight with you. 1-0. The Yankees in front on a bases-loaded walk. They brought in Knobloch in the very first inning. Both starters had lots of command issues. And Roger Clemens had a bigger issue. He had to leave the game because of a right groin strain after just one inning of work. So Mendoza into his second inning out of the bullpen, working against the top of the Red Sox order, and Offerman, Fry, and Nixon here. Offerman 0 for 1. He's lined out to left field. These two clubs hooked up in the American League Championship Series last season. Boston getting into postseason play after 94 wins, winning 90 games for the second consecutive year. Since 1976, in the advent of free agency, the Red Sox have won more games than any major league team except the New York Yankees. And that's ball 4. He saw nothing to hit.
Roger Clemens came out late to start the game, went back to the clubhouse. Watch his right leg, how he never finishes with his right leg. That's where he had the groin pull. Mentioned how he did not kind of finish, and he leaves it up in the air, kind of stiffens it right there. And that was an indication that something was wrong with his back or his leg. Turned out to be his right groin, and normally that right leg just fires over the top.
Offerman takes on the first pitch, and it's fouled away by Fry for strike 1.
And that's the reason why he didn't, because he has either torn it or aggravated something in there.
We will not hear, in all likelihood, any further on that injury today. The groin strain of Roger Clemens. Clemens coming in with a record of 4-6, so obviously not having a Cy Young kind of a season. And his last couple of outings had been very short, just 5 innings apiece. Fry with a base hit in the first inning. So he's 1 for 1. Good stab there by Posada to keep that one from getting by. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Mendoza, for the most of his career, has been used as a spot starter and a long man for the Yankees. Last year, starting in the 5th role. Arabu taking that over. Then after the trade, moving back into that slot. This year, starting the season as a 5th starter. This ball club, when he's in long relief, you're talking about deep.
The Red Sox have already taken 3 bases on balls in the first few innings of this one. the top half of the third inning, 1-0 New York. Offerman good speed. The Red Sox do not run frequently, but they do have some speed in the lineup with Offerman and Carl Everett and Trot Nixon in particular. Cut on and missed. And Mendoza's ahead 1-2.
With Mendoza, he's had 150 major league appearances, and of those, only 50 have been starts. So that's one of the reasons why his shoulder is probably a little tender. Throwing more pitches at this point of the season than any other year prior to.
But a very valuable swing man that the Yankees have been reluctant to part with, because when you're looking at 37-year-old starters like Cone and Clemens, what happened today, not necessarily likely, but a strong chance it could happen. Clemens having to leave because of an injury, and you can roll Mendoza right in there, not losing too much. A foul by Fry. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fry stands about 5'9". Jimmy Williams likes him a lot. Defensively, he's been very solid. He's also hitting .314. So the decision to move Offerman over to first base helps them defensively after Offerman came off the DL and keeps Fry's hot bat in there. Nixon up next. 2-2. So the pitcher's duel that we anticipated, unlike back on May 28th when it was much hyped and it lived up to every minute, well, it does not unfold on this June afternoon in the Bronx, as Clemens is out, and so far Martinez has not been ultra sharp. Another broken bat. Jeter shovels, and that's the only play they get. On the force play, he got it to Knobloch. 1 man out. That ball hit very softly, and Ray, I think 4 or 5 broken bats already on this day.
Yeah, with the ball moving into you, this pitch is just a sizzling sinker in on Fry's hand. No chance, as he feels the ball right there on the grass. But every pitcher that we've seen thus far today has the ability to run the ball in on these right-handed hitters. Ball appears to be out over the plate, and the last 2 or 3 feet at the plate, it just runs right in on your hands.
So Fry becomes the runner at first base for Trot Nixon, who drew a walk in the first inning. Nixon with 15 home runs as a rookie and 7 so far in 2000. Hitting just under 300 defensively. He's really making a name for himself among right fielders in the American League. He might be the best defensively in the league right now.
Well, Jimmy Williams said that he's playing as well as you can play. Running the bases, clutch hits, driving the ball, hitting over 300. And as you've mentioned, really worked hard at playing that tough right field wall. Everybody talks about the left field wall, the configuration at right field, very difficult at Fenway with that short porch with a curve going all the way out to about 40-50 feet and straight across to a low wall by the bullpen.
Yeah, that's Dewey Evans' corner out there, right there in front of the bullpen. Jimmy, of course, preaches defense and then more defense. Wants his teams as fundamentally sound as possible. Nixon being very patient, and a count 3-1.
Well, this is a good running count here, 3-1. You figure that Nixon swinging the bat as well as he is. First base, big hole over there. Should get something to hit here, 3-1. Fry, a good runner. This is a change-up, a breaking ball. He'll steal the base. If it's a fastball, he could score on a double.
He is running, and it's raked into right, but O'Neill will make the sliding on the knees catch. No double play. But a fine grab out there by Paul O'Neill. Speaking of solid right fielders, a sinking, slicing line drive, not as easy as it looked.
Paul does everything so well and so quietly, except in the dugout with that water cooler.
Yeah.
But here's a pitch, fastball moving out, starting in, moving out over the plate. Right on it, Trot Nixon. Here, ball sinking hard, and O'Neill going down with the sink to his knees.
Out number 2, and here's Nomar, who walked his first trip. Goes after the first pitch and hits it to Jeter. And that's all for Boston. They get a man on, but strand him. They're in the middle of the 3rd inning in the Bronx. Still 1-0, the Yankees.
Kawasaki brings you a classic story of 3 bikes and the offers that go with them. Starring the Vulcan 1500 Classic and the Vulcan 800 Classic. And in the role of its career, the fuel-injected Vulcan 1500 Drifter. The all-star cast includes up to $500 in free accessories, or payments as low as $106 per month, or 000 for 6 months. The Vulcan Cruiser from Kawasaki, a classic that will move you. Now playing at your Kawasaki dealer.
Hi, I'm Tammy. What do you look like?
I'll take it.
Me too.
Get more from the web, folks. Sign up for MSN Internet Access.
Lead with your offer. It's big.
Your first 6 months free when you sign up for a year of unlimited MSN Internet Access.
Go get them, man.
Smarter searching lets everybody find exactly what they're looking for. Feeling good.
Come on.
Hey, get MSN eShop. A spectacular feature. Makes comparing products and prices so easy. Call 1-800-FREE-MSN today.
She's never letting go on now.
With MSN Money Central, you can pay bills online, manage all your finances in one place.
Bring it on now.
Are you tired of busy signals and disconnects? You know you are. If you're not, then you're lying to yourself. 6 months MSN free. Sign up now or you'll miss out and you'll be really, really sad.
On second thought, you better stick to the script.
Sign up for a year and get your first 6 months free. Call today, 1-800-FREE-MSN.
Outtakes, the new book by Dan Patrick. Full, expanded interviews from Dan's Outtakes column in ESPN The Magazine take you inside the minds of today's favorite athletes. Dan Patrick's Outtakes, a great Father's Day gift. In bookstores now or through ESPN.com.
Home half of the 3rd inning coming up. Dave O'Brien and Ray Knight from Yankee Stadium. New York ahead 1-0. As Pedro Martinez goes out for his 3rd inning. He'll face Jeter, O'Neill, and Bernie Williams if anyone should reach the number 5 man. Tito Martinez. The Yankees got their run in the 1st inning after Knobloch doubled, leading off the game against Pedro. Then Jeter struck out on a great breaking ball. O'Neill got himself an infield hit. Bernie Williams was hit by a pitch that loaded the bases after Martinez struck out on 3 pitches. Posada on a very close pitch drew ball 4, and that forced in the run. Knobloch scoring, and that's been the extent of it so far. Boy, that pitch on the replay looked like it was probably a strike. The one Posada somehow took for ball 4. A ball and a strike on Derek Jeter.
We have our ozone all plugged up and ready today. Derek Jeter, he tough on balls up and in, up out of over the plate, struggles, ball down and away, struggles, everything else he handles. As you mentioned the first time up, going down on a hard breaking ball down and away, and that's one of Derek's vulnerabilities. The red is the out zone. Green is what he hammers. That pitch down and away is a pitch that gives him trouble. Anything middle of the plate, up, out over the plate, down and in, he can handle. But if you're going to get him out, you have to put the ball right up under his hands, tight, go up the ladder with the fastball, and then throw those darts on the outside part of the plate. The man's 340, 350 hitter, doesn't have a lot of holes, but you can pitch to him.
I was about to say the best laid plans, but that one's on the inside corner for called strike 3. Jeter not terribly fond of the call, but Pedro snuck one on the inside corner to whiff him for the 2nd time.
And what happens, that sets up the first at bat when he struck out on a slider away, sets up that pitch, because you have to be able to respect the pitch they got you out on in the prior at bat. Here's the O zone is the red, the hot zone is the green. That ball's on the inside part of the plate there, right about the bottom of that red area there. Again, you can squeeze him inside as long as the ball is up. Generally, he'll foul that ball off, try to spoil it, get to a better pitch. But with Pedro making that great pitch down and away, the previous at bat made him more susceptible to that fastball in.
Yeah, that was into the K zone.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely the K zone. How do you like that O zone? I like that.
I like that. It's colorful.
It's colorful.
It's kind of Christmassy way if you want to get right down to it. With the red and the green.
Well, we can change the colors now.
O'Neill doesn't get the fastball, nothing in 2. Paul O'Neill with a base hit his first trip. Ray, he really took to the American League in 6 seasons over in the National League with the Reds. He never once hit 300, but in all of his first 6 seasons with the Yankees, he hit over 300 or right at 300 every year.
Well, I saw Paul early in the National League, and he was pretty much a pool hitter. He also was not real disciplined. He swung at a lot of pitches. And I also thought that his swing was big. He tried to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's a pretty big guy, too. 6'3", 210. And when he came to American League with this big ballpark, short down the line, he started hitting line drives to left field, fighting balls off, not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark every at bat. Realized what type of pitcher, what type of hitter he was, and as a result became a real tough out. His swing became shorter, and he changed his field of direction. Happy to hit the ball to left field, and he's become one of the toughest outs against left-handed pitching because he's not afraid to use that third base side of the infield.
Won a batting title doing that in 1994. Hit 359. The 1-2 from Pedro, and a check swing. 2-2. Paul's a pretty fair tennis player as well. Jim Courier, the touring pro, is a good friend, and they've been known to practice together. Apparently O'Neill has a killer service. He can serve about 100 miles an hour. You didn't get this from me, but I guess the backhand needs a lot of work. At the service game. And he has the temperament to be a touring tennis pro too, doesn't he? Lunging after that one, and Garciaparra cannot reach it. Some pretty good hitting by Paul O'Neill, lunging down to get his second single of the game, just out of Nomar's reach. A 1-out hit.
Dave, a lot of times shortstops do not see the ball as well from left-handed hitters because it's kind of an inside-out swing. That ball away, Garciaparra leaning a little bit the other way, didn't get quite as good a jump. O'Neill pulling a ball on the outside, black up the middle. Garciaparra, in his mind's eye, sees the ball out away from him, thinking the ball is going to be hit to his right. Holds there just a little bit, and a little flip of the wrist gets the ball up the middle, base hit.
Here's Bernie Williams, hit by a pitch on the foot his first time up. Bernie in 1999 became the first Yankee since Lou Gehrig with a 200-hit, 100-walk season. A complete year for the man who, along with Jeter, is the heart and soul of their lineup. He also scored over 100 runs and drove in 115. He's turned into a great hitter. He's fallen behind 0-2 on Pedro. Martinez with 4 strikeouts. He's also walked a man, and he hit Williams. Close play, got him. O'Neill didn't get back. He did not slide. And he wants to argue this one. He didn't get in the umpire's face too long. Nothing like McEnroe on a tennis court in his heyday.
A lot of that is embarrassment. Sometimes when you get picked off because you're not quite paying attention, your first base coach may have said something to draw your attention. But here, he leaned a little bit like he was going to go and makes a good throw over there, tags him high. I don't know that he's out, but he actually had a little bit of lean, real close play. O'Neill questioning a little bit, taking a little exception to it.
It's softly to Fry, the second baseman, and as it turns out, Martinez faces only 3 Yankees in the third. Carl Everett, the leading home run hitter of the Red Sox, will lead off the inning, 1-0 the Yankees.
Hey,
played in half-empty stadiums.
Billie Jean King.
So we could get standing ovations.
Flojo.
Martina Navratilova.
Althea Gibson.
They were ridiculed.
No fan clubs.
No fan clubs. No shoe contracts.
No respect.
They endured catcalls. So we could be superstars.
They played for themselves.
Wilma Rudolph. No sponsors.
Nobody paid much attention.
Hazel Howard.
Daddy
They were
Stoltz.
called different, so this would be normal.
They started everything.
They made records.
They made history.
They made history.
Cheryl Miller.
Chris Everett.
We have it good.
We have it good.
I love to play.
I do my best.
I want to be great.
I want to be great. They created a world where we could jump, shoot,
Sing. Shine. Try.
don't blow
Don't
it.
blow it.
Don't blow it.
Once again, a Subaru has received the highest possible rating in recent crash tests. The Legacy has beaten every car tested in its class. But the real story is that with our full-time all-wheel driving system, Subaru can help you avoid accidents altogether. The added safety of full-time all-wheel drive, #1 in crash tests. No wonder the competition keeps beating their heads against a wall. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Not all chewing gums are the same. Dentine Ice. Sub-Zero flavor inside, delicious cold minty shell outside. It really puts your breath on ice for a long, long time. Dentine Ice, nothing's colder than ice.
Nature made it. Minwax makes it beautiful with rich wood stains and long-lasting protective finishes. Turning a house into a beautiful home is as easy as turning to Minwax.
Top of the fourth inning coming your way. Carl Everett to lead things off against Ramiro Mendoza. If you're just joining us, Roger Clemens only lasted 1 inning in this game because of a strained groin. He had to come out, and in fact, Roger was several minutes late getting out to the hill for his warm-up tosses to start it. So 1 inning, 1 hit, didn't allow any runs. The Yankees only run on a bases-loaded walk issued by Pedro Martinez. Everett 0 for 1. He's popped up to second. Carl, a switch hitter, excellent power on both sides of the plate. The Yankees initially had him right back in 1990. They drafted him out of Tampa's famous Hillsborough High School. Goes the other way there, a floater, and Leday won't be able to get there. It's a base hit. First hit of the day for Carl Everett. This one begins the fourth inning. So the Red Sox with good speed on to start the frame. We've got U.S. Open Golf Championship action coming up tomorrow. The 100th U.S. Open Championships from Pebble Beach, California. Tiger Woods expected to compete. So is Mark Duvall. Vijay Singh. Coverage begins at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific time. Each day, by the way, followed by a 1-hour highlight special. That's midnight on ESPN. Buck flies this one foul. The runner at first base. The Red Sox have a man on and nobody out. Trying to get something going against Ramiro Mendoza. And talking about Carl Everett, who never was much of a Yankee fan. Coming out of the same high school there at Hillsborough High, they produced Doc Gooden and Fred McGriff, a couple of former Yankees, along with Gary Sheffield. Now having a bang-up year for the Dodgers. Check swing, but he went. He offered at it, and the count 0-2. And you know, since Carl Everett left the Yankees in the expansion draft years ago, when the Marlins took him, he has said he never wanted to play for the Yankees. And they left him exposed in the expansion draft.
Well, he's one of a small number of players that wouldn't want to play here.
Yeah. Especially with the power he's developed. He's been late developing, though, now 30 years old, and it really hasn't been until the last couple of years. Great season with the Houston Astros last year, and now having an even better one with Boston, that he's really come to the fore as an offensive impact player. 1-2 on Daubach.
Well, you're so right on that point. Back in 97, he hit 14 home runs with 57 RBI. 15 home runs the next year with 76 RBIs. And then the breakout year last year, 25 dongs with 108 RBIs and 27 stolen bases. Only 5 for 8 this year in steals, but last year became a real complete player, added to that great outfield defense.
Swung on and missed, and down goes Daba. Ramiro Mendoza records his first strikeout to get the lefty hitter one away.
Well, he's tougher against left-handers because of the movement of his sinker down and away. Just look at this movement. That ball just bottom falls out of it, starting just underneath the kneecap. Sideways rotation, which is sinker ball rotation. Just moving hard down and away. And there's no way to handle that pitch unless you try to hit it the way it's going. If it's moving away from you, you've got to try to drive it to left field. If not, your bat becomes too short as you pull off the ball.
It sends up Darren Lewis. And if you're Jimmy Williams, Ray, are you thinking about getting this runner going, putting him in motion? And
absolutely. In a ball game like this, you know, with Mendoza looked like he has good stuff. The best thing to do is when you have speed on the bases is use it. Boston hasn't run a lot this year. Only 20 steals. But this is probably their best base stealer, true best base stealer. As you look at the remainder of their club, Darren Lewis can fly and steal you 30-40 bases, but he plays a limited role. There's no one else in the starting lineup with more than 5 steals. Nixon 4 for 4, but this is your best bet at stealing. And Darren Lewis, we had him in Cincinnati when Davey Johnson was managing. Loves to hit and run. He'll come and ask to hit and run. He doesn't care what the count is. Likes to hit the ball the other way. Does not have a big swing. Hits a lot of ground balls.
Everett was a state champion relay sprinter in high school. So he's had excellent speed. He's a 5'2" guy, also very strong throwing arm. Just not terribly fond of the Yankees. And playing in the right city to not be fond of the New York Yankees. And just flourishing in Boston. And Jimmy Williams have gotten along great. Jimmy's done a wonderful job with that club the last couple of seasons. The 0-2 pitch, the runner holds, and it's low, 1-2.
Reading some of the comments by Carl Everett, just to lighten things up here a little bit, he has made the statement on several occasions that he doesn't believe that we've ever sent a man to the moon.
That's right.
And he's kind of backed off of that statement. Now he says he knows there's never been dinosaurs here. He's funny.
It's his lead, and it's fly to center. Williams with a hard run in, but the Gold Glover has it. 2 away in the Red Sox 4th inning. 1-0 the Yankees. They got that in the first inning. Very little offense since then. The Yankees have been held to 3 hits. The Red Sox with 2. Now last night, Varitek, talk about offense, for the first time since April, hitting a home run, and he hit one all the way to the upper deck. Off of El Duque, a big hit. The Red Sox would go on to win at 5-3 and pull into a first-place tie with the Yankees. It was only his 3rd home run. A guy who a season ago hit 20, so been a little bit late in coming. But Varitek has really come on as one of the complete catchers in the American League. He was a terrific college player. You know, been having a great time watching the College World Series on ESPN. Roger Clemens, of course, back in '83, became a collegiate legend. Jason Varitek, along with Nomar Garciaparra at Georgia Tech, tremendous college careers. Varitek, in fact, the Golden Spikes Award winner as the best collegian. Omar on that team, on that Tech team, was just a skinny kid. Varitek with power from both sides of the plate. He's 0 for 1 in the game. This is a guy who has had success every step of the way. The count 2-1. He played in the Little League World Series as a child. Then he led his Minnesota high school to the state championship. Later on to Georgia Tech, where he was an All-American, a U.S. Olympian, and a first-round draft pick, too.
Man.
So that's what you call a big league resume. Jason Varitek off the end of the bat, and that's going to be a fair ball. Brocious, an offline throw back into second, and Everett is safe. Scott Brocious had to get into foul territory after scooping that one up with an off-balance chuck over there, but not in time to get Varitek. And with 2 down, the Red Sox have 2 on.
Well, you talk about getting in foul territory. The only way that you can make that play is by circling the ball to enable yourself to get in a position to throw. Look at Scotty go there, and he ends up circling the ball a little bit so that he can actually have enough momentum, not going toward the dugout. He didn't actually circle it enough because he knew that he really had no chance. Basically, just put that ball in your pocket.
So Everett into scoring position as Veras taps a foul. Couple of base hits here in the 4th inning. And the hits are now even at 3 apiece. The Yankees ahead 1-0. Roger Clemens is out. Pedro Martinez in for Boston. He's still pitching. And hoping this thing is tied up in a moment. Off the mitt of Posada. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Looking out at the Yankee defense, everyone's straight away. Paul O'Neill, Veras, not a lot of power to right field. O'Neill playing extremely deep. We don't feel much breeze up here. The flags are not really doing a whole lot. But to me, that tells me that O'Neill thinks the wind is blowing out to right field because he's extremely deep.
Kind of a shame on Flag Day, isn't it, Ray, that the flags aren't doing a whole lot? I mean, on the very day that the Yankees had parachuted in their 1999 World Championship banner. Number 25 for this franchise. Would foul 1 and 2 on Veras.
Veras the type of hitter that if he gets the ball middle in, he can do some damage with it. But a ball away, because he turns off the ball with his shoulder and leaves the ball a little bit with his hips, has a tendency to hit a lot of those looping fly balls to right field. I made mention of the depth of O'Neill simply because I've seen Veras hit 4 or 5 balls in spring training that way.
The 1-2, he would not chase the breaking ball. So it's all even, 2 down and 2 men on for Boston. Sox trying to tie it up or take the lead. Going into the hole, Jeter with a smooth grab and the first play at second base to end the inning. Veras hit it hard, but he couldn't get it through. Still 1-0, the Yankees.
The 100th U.S. Open begins Thursday.